Well, welcome today, North End, as we take some time just to listen in on some of the frontline workers that are actually a part of our church family. And I'm really glad today to welcome Julie Taylor to our program. Is it our program, our church? Everything was so different, Julie, with COVID. But we really enjoyed you playing keys as well for our worship team, so thank you. I'm just looking at it, and I'm glad you got a name tag on for any problems I have with short-term memory loss, so I'll remember it's Julie. Julie?
Thank you. At the pharmacy, we try to be known by our names, not just some anonymous person behind the counter.
So you actually just gave away what you do. Not only do you work at a pharmacy, but you run a pharmacy. Tell me about that, because it started just before COVID. Tell me where you're located.
That's right. I own Stone Road Pharmacy in Virgil, and we opened in July of 2019. So
Wow.
about 7 or 8 months before the pandemic hit.
Was that a good thing or a bad
I
thing?
just feel so blessed that I am in a business that didn't shut down, and if anything, the pharmacy has continued to grow because of the pandemic.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. You see people coming in, and I'm sure sometimes they're at wit's end's corner. Before we get to that, what has been some of the biggest challenges for you running a business and handling it during COVID? Are there some logistical nightmares?
For sure. The logistical nightmares have changed and morphed over time. At first, it was just the insufficiency of PPE, and we couldn't get masks, we couldn't get hand sanitizer, and I just felt like we were sourcing inventory all day, every day. But I would have to say that the biggest thing for me has been to make sure that my staff feel safe and that they feel comfortable working, that they have an opportunity to voice any of their concerns, because I can't do this alone, and we need to be a team. So making sure that I take the time to communicate with them and be very transparent about what concerns or fears they have and the trajectory of where we want to go as a pharmacy. Our tagline is that we care beyond the prescription. And maybe now that looks a lot different behind a mask and plexiglass, but how can we still do that and feel safe and keep coming to work every day?
So let's just talk about that for a moment. So with your staff, making them feel safe, we've been into this for a year now with COVID. Are there not just some givens, or is there still a level of anxiety for them as they come in? Help me to understand that.
There's still a level of anxiety, because as much as the province has made restrictions, there's still some flexibility with what we do outside of our time at work. There's a difference between, do we order groceries and have it delivered, or because it still is okay to go into a grocery store and buy groceries, is that okay? And what is our level of comfort? And some staff members have children, so that means that they are going to daycare and they're exposed to other people. And so it's factoring all of that in and knowing that our actions have ripple effects. And the pharmacy dispensary is not a big place. So we're working elbow to elbow sometimes. So we really need to be careful about that. And then we've got people coming in our doors. So finding ways to actively screen without feeling like we're drill sergeants, asking people if they've got any symptoms or have been exposed, and doing that in a way that still makes people feel welcome, because we are one of the only places that people can go to.
I was thinking about that. And so I want to ask you a different question, because you're going to remember this when I mention it to you, but I learned about Julie a long time ago when you were actually caring for my mother-in-law who was struggling with cancer. And I heard the reports of this lady that she would talk to. So it almost sounds like you're running a little bit of pastoral care out of your clinic, out of the pharmacy. What are the things that you see most with people coming in? Is it anxiety? Is it fear? Do people talk to you about their deep-rooted fears and anxieties? Talk to us about that.
They sure do. I've actually even contemplated having another phone line installed just because the number of phone calls that people just want to talk. And the word that comes to mind when it comes to what my patients are dealing with is uncertainty. And that uncertainty has been constant, but perhaps the things that they have been uncertain about have changed. At first, it was uncertainty about what this virus even is and who carries it. Is it droplet? Is it airborne? Uncertainty about how much to sanitize. And now the uncertainty has changed all about the vaccine. Is it safe? Did it come to market too quickly? When am I going to get it? Is another big question that I'm getting right now. And unfortunately, I don't have the answers. But what I try to do is just tell people that we're in it together. We will do everything we can to make sure that we take care of people, and we'll notify them when we get something for certain.
Well, I appreciate your honesty and transparency. So let me just ask you a little different question, and we'll wrap up with this. You know, you're human just like the rest of us, and even though you know things maybe at a deeper level from the practical side of the physical realities of this whole pandemic, how does your faith in Christ impact, as you get up and push through certain days? Because I'm sure you're not skipping into work every day. But maybe you are.
Yeah, having a Starbucks next to my pharmacy does help, though.
Okay.
But there's an underlying thankfulness that I am still able to work. And every day when I do the questionnaire about whether I have symptoms, I'm thankful that I can answer no, I do not, so that I am able to work. I'm not a homebody, and I give it out to those people who are stuck at home, because I know that I would not do well. But so there's still things to be thankful for, and I try to focus on that. And then going back to just that uncertainty that I deal with every day, I know that one thing is for certain, that God is in control of all of this, and that needs to be forefront of my mind every day.
Wow. Well, thank you for that reminder, Julie Taylor. Thank you for being a part of this interview. And we applaud you. We thank God for you and others that are serving alongside of you. You're crushing it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.